Feed Dump, where PAX is coming up next week, and that means this week we are all PAX-related illnesses. I'm Line Thrush. Joining me this week is Purell Overdose.
I bled out because my hands cracked so badly.
And dying in the subway line.
I suppose it's better than the alternative of eating so much Subway you actually just shit a fully reconstituted foot-long meatball sub.
Police in Springfield, Oregon arrested a 43-year-old woman after she tried to buy $2,200 worth of gift cards with a bad check. When her check bounced, she got real mad and then drove her truck into the store and then up one aisle and down the other and back out of the store.
Well, obviously she'd have to drive out again. She couldn't just park her car there. She'd get a ticket.
You've already driven into the store. There's no point in backing out like a coward. Fully commit to that illegal U-turn.
This is honestly kind of depressing. The best scheme she could come up with was to try to launder $2,000 worth of grocery gift cards, and then when it didn't pan out, she tried to take the place out by driving through it. Did she think she was in heat?
What do you mean in heat? Like hearing the fertile cry of your gonads and being like, yeah, I want to shit some kittens out. Come to me, night cats.
No.
In case you're unaware of what heat is, here's a brief plot summary. When Al Pacino and Robert De Niro square off, heat sizzles. A tale of a brilliant LA cop following the trail of a deadly armed robbery to a crew headed by an equally brilliant master thief. Val Kilmer, Jon Voight, Tom Sizemore, Ashley Judd, and Natalie Portman co-star.
I feel a little bad for this woman because ostensibly this is a decent plan if you're into fraud. You buy a bunch of gift cards, you don't actually pay for them, and then you sell them at half cash value so she gets maybe $1,000 out of it. A perfect crime.
Yeah, except for the part where you pay for it with a check with your name and address on it, and then, in a tantrum, drive through the store.
Yes, I will admit there was some trouble sticking the dismount for this particular scam, but I would still say on a Feed Dump scale of 1 to what were you thinking? This woman is definitely on the better end of scams that we've seen.
Well, I suppose she didn't die with her pants full of turtles, so yeah, this is actually fairly sane by our standards.
A New York City woman tried to sell a bunch of live crickets and worms on a subway car, but because that sounds crazy, it turns out she was a little unhinged, and then some teenagers pushed her, and then she went really batshit and then dumped the crickets and worms all over the subway car, and then somebody pulled the emergency stop, and then the car got stuck on the Manhattan Bridge for half an hour, and all the worms and crickets got out, and then she tried to pee on the floor.
Okay, Kathleen, we've been over this. It was one bad day. You didn't have to bring it up on Feed Dump. It's really uncomfortable. And look, the cricket thing, they got loose and then I stress peed. So I don't think that's really my fault.
You know, credit where credit is due. This is some grade A havoc. Normally we just report on morons pitching a fit and driving through a grocery store. But this woman turned the inside of a subway car into a Bosch painting. We salute you.
An EasyJet flight from London to Belfast was delayed for an hour because 2 crew members got into a shouting match. So, lest you think this is some sort of minor disagreement that happened pre-boarding, what happened was everybody sat down in their seats and buckled up, and the plane was pulling away, but then they heard the audible strains of 2 cabin crew members yelling at one another about how the water bottles had been unwrapped. And this continued for so long that the captain had to turn the plane around and get rid of the crew members. It ended up landing about 90 minutes behind schedule.
Wow, I didn't think pilots actually had to deploy the, if you don't get your shit together, I'm gonna turn this plane around and we're going home.
Again, I've really got to hand it to these people. The most damage I've ever caused with a shouting match is long-term emotional scarring. These people caused massive financial damage, which is way more important.
All right, new bucket list item. I want to bitch someone out so bad that I crash an entire stock market.
I mean, the nice thing is that EasyJet has offered some platitudes and...
Remember to stretch.
Okay. I have never met somebody.
I cannot fucking believe that you managed to do this so frequently.
I appreciate that they're trying to do this for real. I apologize for any financial distress caused.
I have to be around you.
And remember, there may be better sources of news, but they don't have this hat.
But you know what? It's fine.
It's from Jimmy and Jordan in Richmond.
You know what?
Okay, bye.
I'm just gonna go cut off my nipples just in case right now.